UFC 240 is only a few hours away, and I have to say I'm extremely excited for the main event fight between Max Holloway and Frankie Edgar. Those two are two of my all-time favorites to watch fight, and I could not be more stoked that Frankie is finally getting his crack at Max. This is a matchup we've all been wanting to see for a long, long time. So obviously, a win for Max Holloway in this one would be a big deal for him in that he can get back on his winning ways after, losing that fight up in lightweight to Dustin Poirier. And he could get on his way to cementing himself as the featherweight GOAT. Now, I don't agree with Joe Rogan and some of the other analysts who try to claim that Max Holloway already is the featherweight GOAT. I think he needs to beat the next crop of up-and-coming contenders, since he's already defeated basically the entire old crew of contenders. If he were to defeat Frankie Edgar tonight, he'll have beaten all of the past great featherweights. But he still needs to beat Alexander Volkanovski, J.E.T, Yair, even Arnold Allen potentially. All those guys are great up and coming young contenders, and I think if he can destroy that next crop of contenders, I would definitely consider him to be the featherweight GOAT. But on to Frankie Edgar. I've been thinking about what a win would mean for Frankie, and I think if Frankie Edgar can win tonight, I would consider him the lighter weight GOAT. And by lighter weight, I mean from the lightweight weight class to the flyweight weight class, which is the lowest weight class that the UFC obviously has for men. So if he was able to be a two-division champion in lightweight and featherweight and be a two-division champion who has defended his lightweight belt multiple times, and be able to beat such a strong young guy like Max, I think there would be a solid argument that he would be the lighter weight GOAT. So think about some of the other guys who might be in the conversation for that, like a Uriah Faber who wasn't a two-division champion. Dominic Cruz also not. TJ Dillashaw also not. All those guys had great careers and insane runs, and debatably better runs than Frankie had. But for Frankie to have two significant runs at two different weight classes would be more significant than even Cejudo, who is already a double champ, but he doesn't really had a run at bantamweight. You know what I mean? It's like he's a double champ in the same way that Conor McGregor was a double champ, and I love Conor, but he didn't defend the belts, so I also don't consider him, one of the lighter weight GOATs, so to speak, even though he was a champ at featherweight and at lightweight, which is the feat that Frankie Edgar is looking to replicate tonight. Now, Frankie Edgar in his UFC career is 16-6-1. And let's take a quick look at just all those losses. So he has one loss to Gray Maynard, and a draw to Gray Maynard, which he obviously avenged very impressively. And then he's got two very close losses to Benson Henderson, and Benson easily outweighs Frankie by 20 to 30 pounds. We all know Frankie was severely undersized for the lightweight division. And then he would have two losses to Jose Aldo by decision. I mean, I think Aldo, as I've just claimed, I believe he is the featherweight GOAT. So not too much shame in losing there. And then one loss, his only stopped loss in his career, to Brian Ortega, which he took on short notice and really did the UFC a solid there. And we saw what that got him. So that's probably why Frankie got the title shot tonight. It's a bit of they're scratching his back since he scratched theirs last time. So Frankie as a plus 300 underdog tonight, I think that's, he should be more of an underdog, I would argue. And if he were able to win tonight, that would have been, he will have knocked off the two greatest Hawaiian fighters in UFC history, since he defeated BJ Penn to get the belt, for the lightweight belt back in the day. I think that would be kind of poetic for him to take the featherweight belt from Max Holloway. I mean, the people of Hawaii, I'm sure, wouldn't appreciate it too much. But you think Frankie defeats BJ Penn when he was in his prime, who I think is probably the lightweight GOAT, if he can defeat a prime Max Holloway at this point of his career, I would probably have to consider Frankie Edgar to be the lighter weight GOAT. What do you think? Is Frankie Edgar the lighter weight GOAT? Who do you think is the lighter weight GOAT? Once again, when I say lighter weight, I'm saying from the lightweight weight class all the way down to the flyweight weight class. Who do you think is going to win tonight? I personally definitely think I think for sure Max Holloway is going to get it done. I feel very confident of that. But at the same time, you can't count Frankie Edgar out. And I definitely didn't think Frankie had a shot in hell to beat BJ Penn the first time or even the second time. I thought the first time was a fluke. I couldn't believe it when he beat him the second time. So Frankie Edgar is very capable of shocking the world. Will he do it again tonight? I can't wait to find out. I'm going to come back with some post-fight analysis, breakdown wherever these guys should go from here. That'll be my next video. Look forward to seeing you all then. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, comment below who you think is going to win tonight, who you would like to see these guys fight next, and whatever you think, basically.